We're still in what I feel is the first week. It's tournament in a TeaBreak on day 8 of Roland Garros 2019. You are listening to Ros Satar.
And Chris Oddo.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's actually the second week, but it still feels like the first week. I don't get this.
It feels like it was very hot today.
Okay, is that why I don't get it?
Yeah, it could be. It's causing some confusion. Super balmy and warm in Paris today.
Yeah, it's been unbearably hot. It's been unbearably hot in the media centre, and then you come out, and whilst it's nice and cool down that side where Châtelet is, as soon as you walk down the boulevard that takes you to Longlen, it's like being tossed about in a tumble dryer.
Yeah, it's warm. Luckily, we found some shade in the media seating in the courts has relatively nice pieces of shade, so that was good. And it enabled me to sit out on Court Suzanne Longland today for about 2 hours without getting too much sun and enjoying myself.
And what were you enjoying?
I was enjoying what many are calling the match of the tournament. Stan Wawrinka defeats Stefanos Tsitsipas in 5 hours and 9 minutes and 5 sets. Pretty much epic encounter. Was up and down. Not perfect tennis all the times, but a lot of emotional highs and lows. Great interaction with the crowd from both players. A lot of excitement out there on Longland.
No, I mean I caught bits of it. For my money, there seemed to be their levels seem to rise and fall at different stages. So one player would be playing lights out, and the other player would maybe dip a little bit. And I think that was reflected by the way that the scores went. But that final set, and indeed that final game, was pure theatre.
Oh, the match point that Wawrinka was able to slip past Tsitsipas, who was covering the line, but the shot was so perfect that he decided to let it go, because I think he realized he wasn't going to do much with it other than stick it into the net, and then the ball caught the line. Tsitsipas marks the mark thinking it's out. The umpire jumps down and checks it. It's over, and then the super hug at the net. It was just pure drama.
Well, the super hug at the net, I wasn't sure whether it was Wawrinka doing that whole kind of drunk, you're my best friend, you are my best mate, or just that he literally couldn't stand up and was holding on to Tsitsipas for dear life because his little bendy legs were going to just give way.
Man, I think when you spend 5 hours and 9 minutes with somebody out there, you feel pretty close to them.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a little bit of Tsitsipas's press conference. Kid is broken, but he will come back. As I said, he's downright Socratarian in his views. Platovian.
Oh man!
I have no idea if these words actually exist. But then he has no idea what these ancient Greek quotes mean that he posts. So I feel like I'm in good company.
Well, he's taking it hard. He said he cried after the match. He was just in utter confusion in that press conference, talking about all the opportunities he let slip. Failed to convert on all 8 of his break points in set 5. There were 27 break points in the match. He really controlled the play, and he did a great job against Wawrinka. He did a great job neutralizing Stan's heavy hitting, and he hit with a lot of depth and a lot of accuracy. He used his forehand well. He did so many good things, but he just didn't convert on those biggest of points. And 8 of 8 in the 5th set, 3 in the first game, another 2 I think in the 5th game, and then another 3 just in clusters. He just couldn't convert. It was rough.
But that's the thing. I mean, this is what he will learn. He will learn how to play the big occasions, and this is what Stan can do.
Yeah.
And remember, I know that he was like taking the mickey of him at one stage with the way that Stan points at his head, but at the end of the day, Stan was a mental midget for a long time, and then got his head straight.
Excellent point.
And once he did, he really became. I mean, as I said to you in jest, you and Mert in jest at dinner time. We live in a world where Stan could quite likely now rival Andy for slam titles.
Yeah. He could get another one.
I wouldn't count him out. I mean, the thing is, he's got Federer, but his best results against Federer have come on the dirt.
No doubt. I'll never forget that Monte Carlo final where he really took it to him. But the rough part of the story is this, that Stan spent 5:09 on court today. He has now spent 12:27 in his 4 rounds on court, and he played the last 3 days in a row because he had to play Dimitrov over 2 days. And Roger Federer has just been cruising. Only 7 hours, 10 minutes on court, has basically not had his feathers ruffled. So Roger has that advantage when they come head-to-head. But yes, Stan on clay, heavy ball, can really punish Roger's backhand. Definitely give him a fighting chance if he can recover.
But the thing that I was talking on radio earlier today, and we were talking about the big 3 and how invincible they are, but the real test comes when they get tested. tested. And when they start to play players that don't just crumble in their wake.
Yep.
And this is the week that it's going to happen. This is the week that you're going to actually see the test.
Well, it's about time. Speaking of not being tested, Rafael Nadal faced Juan Ignacio Londero, a guy who had never won a match in a major before. He was just... in over his head on Chatrier today, so Nadal cruises. He did get a little bit of a test in his third round, but he's been cruising. Novak Djokovic has barely broken a sweat so far. He'll face Jan-Lennard Struff tomorrow. That could be a little bit exciting. Struff's been playing well, so but this is we're finally going to see these guys play some important matches against opponents who might be able to shake them up a little bit. So that'll be nice.
Yeah. I think the men's draw is going to be a lot more interesting from next week onwards.
Absolutely.
The women's draw, though, has been interesting, I think, right from the get-go.
Of course it has. It always is.
And today's encounter with let me just force Konta here first, because I didn't actually talk about Konta.
Of course we better talk about Joe.
I thought that this would go to Vekic. I actually picked Vekic in 3 in the preview because whilst neither of them would cite clay as their favourite surface, they've both done pretty well this year and pretty well this tournament to get to where they are. But Joe came out absolutely swinging for the fences. I mean, they were a bit nervy at the beginning. There were like 3 successive breaks. Joe got that first break, the consolidation to hold, and just kept her nose out in front. There was a couple of trader breaks, and I think she broke for the first set, and then in the second set it was quite tight. Then just one break in it, and it was enough to carry her over the line. But they're friends off the court as well. They've struck up a friendship. It was lovely to see actually. But next up, it segues quite nicely, will be Sloane Stephens, who started slowly-ish against Muguruza. Muggsy broke to begin with. Sloane had to sort of creep her way back in. And then after that, she pretty much had the measure of her. But whoever was going to come out of that, I think, was going to probably earmark themselves as who's going to be here on Saturday, I firmly believe.
Sloane is looking good, and we all knew that she had the potential to play this well. Sven-Gronfeld partnership has got her focused, disciplined. That came at the right time. She might actually be in a little bit of a honeymoon with that relationship, and that means she could be a very dangerous player. I think, if you're looking at the women's draw right now, you're looking at Sloane Stephens and Simona Halep, and then you're wondering who else can step up and interfere with those two right now. But
well, I mean, that's just it. If we look at, Simona's draw has really opened up beautifully.
Oh my goodness, has it ever?
She's still got Iga Swiatek to get through.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be easy because there's a lot of self-belief in that kid. She's got Anisimova and Bolsova potentially at the other side of that, and then at the top,
Halep's in there with 2 teenagers and a qualifier to get to the semis. So it's nice, but she'll have to take care of business, and no match is easy at this point. Then, I guess if you're picking potential winners besides Halep and Stephens, who are you looking at?
I'm not. It's for me, it's still between those two. On the other side, you've got Barty and Keys.
Sleepy Keys, semi-finalist last year, good on this surface.
Yeah.
We watched her yesterday. She's able to win easily, or not easily. She's able to win, but without her best tennis. So that's a nice thing, right?
To come through that particular sort of round of that fourth round, Barty wouldn't necessarily list clay as her best surface. Kennan could take it to her.
Potentially, yes.
You could end up with Kennan and Keys. That would be quite an interesting bout.
Yeah.
It's getting super interesting on that side. While we're talking about that side, we have Marketa Vondrousova is still going strong.
She hasn't dropped a set.
She absolutely demolished Anastasia Sevastova. Demolished, yeah. This is Sevastova who saved 5 match points and then served out a match to love, the match with Elise Mertens, which was one of the ones that was on all the screens. Everybody was oohing and ahhing. Some of the rallies in that match were just phenomenal. And then she came out and was as flat as a crepe.
What is it about Vondrousova? She must be a really tricky player to face. The drop shots with the curling cross-court forehands that can keep you back. You don't know where to play against her. You don't know what to do against her.
I think Jo was extremely lucky to win with her telegraphing drop shots as she plays. They're getting better. She did some good ones against Vekic today. But I think when she played Vondrousova, she was tired. She was carrying a little bit of an injury and just couldn't get it together. But like Vondrousova had taken her out in Indian Wells, I believe. She, for somebody so young, she's got such a lot of variety and such a lot of deftness and touch at the net. Her feel at the net is phenomenal for somebody of that age.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Whereas Sevastova, I think, was the adrenaline of that match that she played with Mertens 11-9 in the decider. I think says it all. She just came out, as I said, as flat as a crepe.
Very flat today. How about Petra Martic, though?
Martic had a real battle on her hands. Kanepi did as Kanepi does and shows up at a slam and just is a thorn in everybody's side.
She can really boom that forehand.
She did. I mean, she had Martic on the back foot. Had to come back from a set down to take that. So that was a very good comeback for her.
It was a long time coming for Petra Martic. Her 29th appearance at a major and her, I think, third round of 16 here at Roland Garros, so finally able to break through. Nice to see the emotions, nice to see the joy in her face. And Martic, Vondrousova, quarterfinal, up for grabs. Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, Stevens and Contra aside, this is a great wide open section of the draw. It's like, I've been watching Sky Atlantic's Chernobyl, and this is like a core left wide open to the elements.
Absolutely. It's fun. It's fun.
Without maybe the radioactive harm, we would hope. So we've touched a little bit on Tsitsipas and Wawrinka, and a little bit about Djokovic and their time on court. Federer and Nadal, well, the men in general. Talk to me about men in general.
I mean, it's as we expected. We knew it was going to be the Rafa and Nole show. We knew those were going to be the two superstars, the two race cars cruising through towards next Sunday, and they're still on track. They're still looking good, so nothing's changed there. Tomorrow we're going to get Thiem and Monfils. That could be exciting. Thiem is, I think, Federer has kind of emerged as a 1B favorite now behind the Djokovic and Nadal. And it's kind of between Thiem and Federer to see who steps up and maybe can make some impact on this draw. And it's hard to really pin down what's going to happen. I feel like everybody's having fun to see who can reach the semifinals, and then by the end of next week, it's going to be about Novak and Rafa, and everything else will be forgotten.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you get that feeling as well?
I was just going to say, I think it's quite amazing that we're just like pretty much writing Zverev off completely.
Oh, Fanini Zverev is going to be a fun match.
But I think that's going to be a 4 or 5 setter right there. That's going to be tedium.
You mean writing him off in the sense that the winner of that match will likely face Djokovic in the quarterfinals? Yeah, I mean, I just don't see anybody stopping Rafa or Nole right now. And I'm by all means, I'm entertained by what's happening in all these other matches and who's going to reach the semis. And of course, Federer Wawrinka is going to be awesome. And tomorrow's round of 16 matches, Thiem and Monfils, Del Potro still in the mix. There's still a lot of good stuff, but I still feel like in the end, next Sunday, it's going to be showdown time.
But there's also an element of me that thinks, as people sort of say, as boring as that particular narrative is, then we will really see who is the king of the play.
Oh, I'm not bored by it at all.
Right now I'm still standing behind Djokovic, resolutely. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to have all 4. He'll have another Nole slam, and one of my colleagues on my table thinks he could actually hold all 6 by the end of the year. Wow. Now that would be phenomenal.
He potentially could. I just think it's a coin toss right now between those two. This is Rafa's place. This is where he always gets it done. You can't take that for granted. But
that's just it. That's the narrative I think we want changed. Well, certainly I want changed.
I think a lot will depend on maybe what happens in the next couple of rounds and who potentially gets into trouble, who potentially overheats a little bit.
But that's just it, though. I mean, is there anybody that can potentially trouble him?
Oh, Rafa's draw is really a cakewalk right now.
Nishikori
and Pair are still out there battling, or did they just call it? It's a couple sets. I think it's...
Yeah, they'll call it fairly soon, I think.
But they still are playing.
Yeah, I think we won't see anything until we get to maybe the next couple of brackets, but... I certainly can't see Benoit Paire giving Nadal any trouble whatsoever. And Nishikori, well, how many 5-setters, will he want?
I think the player that could challenge Nadal a little bit in the quarters is Nishikori, and then we're looking at possible Nadal-Federer semifinal. That's funny. Who would have expected that at the beginning of the season? We didn't think Roger would play.
No, well, that would be good. But if it is a Nadal-Federer semifinal, your money has to be on Nadal.
In straight sets.
I would actually give Federer a set.
He's playing well, isn't he?
I would give Federer a set. I wouldn't give him 2.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I would actually give him a set. But yeah, Federer and Nadal is a terrible, terrible matchup.
Yep. Of course, Roger's got a five-match winning streak against Rafa, but here at Roland Garros and Chatrier, different story. Totally different story.
I stand behind what I'm saying. I think the only person that's going to beat Rafa here is going to be Djokovic.
Yeah.
Federer has done extraordinarily well on his comeback, but if it's him and Rafa in the semi, no chance. Yeah. None at all. Okay, let's look to the Order de la Philippe Chatrier.
Let's do.
Oh, I mean, this is cool. Like Kenin and Barty to start. That's going to be feisty fist pumpiness everywhere. I think Djokovic and Struff is a 4-setter at least.
You think?
Yeah, I think Struff will take a set off him. I think this is going to be Novak Djokovic's first test.
Okay.
He's been taking the scenic route all the way through. But I think it's going to be a fun match against Monfils. And I think he's suitably peeved by what happened yesterday that we won't keep referring to. But I think he'll be suitably peeved that he'll be like kind of, right, let me at him. And then Halep. Now, Halep's been quite nervy and twitchy and cat on hot tin roofy. So Swiatek might actually be quite a challenge for her because girl's hitting free.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see Swiatek and what kind of tennis she can bring, and get to know her game a little better. And who knows? Yeah,
I think so. And then on Longlen, or Susie Longlegs as somebody called it, which I thought was great.
Haven't heard that one.
Siniakova and Keys, that could be all kinds of Eristroon entertainment.
It could be fun.
Fognini and Zverev, I think that's got 5 sets written all over it, but I think it'll be entertaining tennis. I think Fognini will get under Zverev's skin, and it'll just be all kinds of hilarious to watch a big lanky asparagus go mental. Khachanov and Del Potro, Del Potro will be the family favourite, but I don't think that's going to be a particularly enlightening match. But Anisimova and Aliona Bolsova, I think. A
mystery match.
Yeah.
Let's get to know those two players
Let's get to know those two players. The rest are doubles, and whilst it sounds like we've ripped through, because we have, I think we ought to wrap things up with the fact that we've got a very good 4th round lineup.
We do. I pretty much like everything. Like I said, there's a lot of players who we haven't seen in this kind of magnitude of match. Amanda Anisimova and Bolsova. That is just, nobody would have predicted that at the beginning of the tournament. And Anisimova's 17. She's made the second week of 2 consecutive majors. That says something about her level of ability there.
No, well, we'll be talking a lot about her tomorrow night, I think. Just to learn. And that will be your last night, I believe.
It will be, sadly.
But you'll be back for Wimbledon.
I will be back for Wimbledon, and I'll be back here next year for
the whole 2 weeks.
I hope. We'll see.
Oh, you will be.
Keep your fingers crossed.
I will, but then that makes it difficult.
And everybody at home, if you like what I'm doing here, please write your congressman about me.
Yeah, we don't have congressmen in Europe.
Any Americans out there?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for listening. You have, of course, been listening to Ros Satar
and Chris Oddo,
and we will be back tomorrow. Au revoir.
Au revoir.